Hello Internet, it's Jess from Just Like Stuff and
Mr. Just Like Stuff.
We're here today to do a little video about our rekindled love of
Board games.
Board games.
Woo!
What's your history with board games?
Back when I was a kid, I think the earliest part of my history is back when I was a kid, like 4, my dad would get me to play checkers with him on the floor of the living room.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much one of my favorite memories as a kid, and I remember if I beat him at checkers, I got the right to play him at chess. And if I beat him at chess, which did not happen very often, I got ice cream. So it didn't really stop me from trying.
I grew up playing like the classic kids games like Guess Who,
Lucky.
Candyland.
It was
I
awesome.
really like Candyland. And then I later got into any Nintendo games and stuff, but board games pretty much fell off my radar until I'd say about a year ago. I started watching the Wheaton tabletop show on Geek and Sundry called TableTop, and I'll link that below. And he plays lots of cool board games with lots of cool internet celebrity types and other nerd celebrity types. And I figured it would be something in his wheelhouse, as he is a very big gaming nerd.
Yes.
And you fell in love with it right away.
Well, it's pretty much run by Wesley Crusher. And when you have guests on it, like, I don't know, Grant Hamahara from Mythbusters, or Day 9, the StarCraft 2 shoutcaster, or Total Biscuit.
You were way fanboying over Total Biscuit being on.
I kind of was, yeah. He's one of my favorite game journalists.
Yeah, so I started watching the series with him, and we watched the whole thing, and we're kind of like, well, why don't we go pick up some of the games? And we have a collection of about 15, 20 games now.
20-ish, I guess.
20-ish games.
We stopped counting.
And we also started a monthly game night, which has been a lot of fun. It's helped us because I always look for structured ways to interact with humans, and that's a way to interact with humans that I enjoy.
Because World of Warcraft wasn't up your alley.
No. And it's just a lot of fun to have friends over and everyone can play a game. In the games, I kind of had a preconceived notion of tabletop games as being like really esoteric and hard to get into. But I found on TableTop, Wheaton showed that there was a lot of like card games that looked awesome and dice games that looked super cool. And so that kind of, it lowered, I guess, the bar as to what I thought board games were. And we picked them up and it was a lot of fun. So we're going to go over a couple of games that we think you should definitely have in your collection, and if you're thinking about dipping your toe into the tabletop world, what you should pick up.
Yep. Why don't we go ahead and start with some of the simpler ones that kind of helped us get into things.
StarFluxx.
One of about a bajillion different Flux variants, but don't worry, each one is by itself. Yes.
StarFluxx is a card game, and it has a lot of cool art, and it has it's sci-fi themed it gives a wink and a nudge to Star Trek, First Gen,
Hitchhiker's Guide, Doctor Who.
There's also a monolith, like the monolith in Stanley Kubrick's 2001. So a lot of fun art in here, and the rules on this card game change all the time. That's why it's called Flux. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of replayability as well, and it's under $20, so I definitely recommend picking up, if not StarFluxx, another. They have Monty Python Flux, Zombie Flux,
Cthulhu Flux.
A lot of fun, this one, and it's a good starter game.
Mm-hmm. Another one, if you're a fan of just rolling dice and having a quick competition against all of your friends, something easy to pick up, King of Tokyo. For those of us who want to be the monster that destroys Japan. I think we picked this up shortly after we watched Pacific Rim, oddly enough.
Yeah, it was one of the first games we picked up, because who doesn't want to be a big monster? And we had just watched Pacific Rim, so it was like way in our wheelhouse, and it's a lot of fun. And it's another game that's really simple to understand the rules, and you roll dice, and you get to smash your friends in the face. It's awesome.
Definitely. Legally distinct from, but similar to monsters like King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And others.
A game that we picked up a little bit more recently that I think should be in everyone's collection is Forbidden Island. It's a game where you play with your friends against the board that you build. It's a lot of fun. It's a kind of a difficult, not a difficult game, but it's hard to win.
There's more ways to lose than there are to win, but even losing is fun.
It's a very fun game. Like on here, it says 2 to 4 players, and it takes about 30 minutes.
Which is true.
And it's just a lot of fun. I highly recommend Forbidden Island.
Mm-hmm. If you have a couple more people, I think there's a version called Forbidden Desert, which supports 5 or 6.
We have yet to pick that one up, but it's definitely on our list of games to pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another game you wanted to mention?
Yes. In the same vein as all the players against the board, if there are those of you who like H.P. Lovecraft and his mythos, and you want to try and stop the Ancient Ones from waking up, there's a game called Elder Sign.
Which I mentioned in my May favorites, along with another awesome game called Boss Monster. I'll link that video below as well, so you can check that out.
If you're familiar with maybe with an older game called Arkham Horror, this is pretty much along the similar lines, just
very
a
similar
lighter version. Doesn't take as long to play. It's 1 to 8 players. So yes, if you really want to, you can try and play this by yourself, but it gets a lot harder if you have fewer people. So this is definitely one where it's a good party game.
Yeah, but one thing I do like about, because a lot of the games we play, whether it's just me and him, and then other games like when we have all of our friends over for our game nights, this is fun when it's just 2 of us playing, or if it's like 8 of us playing.
That's true.
It has a lot of replayability, and you get to roll dice, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think another game I want to give a quick shout out to is Gloom. It's a card game, and it's really funny, and you get to build a story while you kill your characters off as quick as you can and try to have your opponent's characters have better lives. And that's why it's called Gloom. And the art's really cool, and the cards look... I'll just pull out a card real quick.
You've never been so happy one of your family members has been eaten by weasels.
And these cards are just super cute. I just like that design. And I think you want to mention one other game, and then we'll mention the Granddaddy of all card games.
Keeping the same vein with card games is Smash Up.
This is really fun. We also have both of the expansions. I highly recommend this one.
Including the obligatory Cthulhu expansion and the Awesome 9000 set. Yes, and it is...
Awesome 9000.
Yes. If you like more strategy in your card games, premeditated strategy that is, pick this up. It is extremely fun. You can basically combine different armies. Every deck is made of 2 armies, and you can have a different set every time. So you can have zombie bear cavalry, ghost ninjas, pirate plants. Yes, that's a thing.
Trickster dinosaurs.
Student.
Cybernetic ape ghosts.
What was it? Miskatonic University Wizards? That's a thing.
That's a pretty good deck, too, if you get that one.
Yes. And basically, every game can be different. What we do is we pick randomly to make sure we're not picking the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to have zombies premeditated. She's not allowed to have bear cavalry. So we have to do randomness just so things like that don't happen.
And it's a lot of fun if it's just us 2, or if it's a group of us.
Oh.
A lot of replayability. Highly recommend Smash Up.
And to be honest, the only limitation on how many people can play, even though it says 6 players, is how many different armies you have. So you can ignore the upper limit on that one. It hasn't stopped being fun.
Definitely.
So feel free to pick this one up. It's great, especially if you're already into games and you like games like Dominion or Ascension. This game is right up your alley.
And the last game we're going to talk about is a game for horrible people that is absolutely fun to play. Cards Against Humanity.
Yes. Now, if you're having a game night and you've got kids, send them to bed before this game comes out, because this game should be accompanied with the booze.
Yes, it's a good game for boozing, and this is how we end every game night. And I always get a stitch in my side from laughing so much at some of the combinations that you have in this game. A lot of fun.
This game could actually make a game night in and of itself, too.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it is a game for horrible people.
But if you're playing this game, you're horrible, but you're surrounded by horrible people, so...
It's a party.
No one's going to judge you much.
Pick it up.
Yes. And if you find yourself strapped for cash, you can actually print that game off the internet for free.
There's a lot of expansions online for it.
Too, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Pick it up.
Definitely.
So these are just some of the games that we have. Any of these would be a good starting game. If you have any recommendations, let me know below.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely encourage people to start getting into board games.
Get into board games, it's a lot of fun.
Go to your local game store, ask the person behind the counter for recommendations. Yeah. You'll probably see people there who are playing games too. They'll probably have recommendations far beyond anything we've mentioned here.
There's a lot of games out there for everything that you're into. There's a game around that. Almost anything you're into, there's a board game around that.
And nothing quite beats the experience of...
Yeah, getting together, just us two or with our friends, it's just been a lot of fun, and something that we're getting very excited about whenever we play. We play about 2 games a week, and I always love when we have our...
I always lose.
Yeah, I win sometimes.
Board games have definitely been a big part of our lives recently.
Yeah, board games have definitely enhanced our lives. I highly recommend that you start it by yourself with friends. Get into board games. This is Jess from Just Like Stuff.
And this is Mr. Just Like Stuff.
Play games.
Woo!
Bye, Internet.
Bye-bye. Woo!